You're tuned into RX Radio. Movement prescribed. Brought to you by Prescript.com. A personalized approach to keeping you healthy and making your best even better. Your hosts, Dr. Jordan Shallow and Dr. Jordan Jiunta.
All right. It's so cool to have the 3, 2, 1 thing.
Yeah.
I can
You
add
want
a
me to do
3,
it?
2, 1. What do you
Can
mean?
you just do 3, 2, 1?
Say 3, 2, 1?
Just say it and have this all a part of the intro.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1.
That was amazing. With the finger point, too.
Oh, wait, no, I got to do it in front of the camera. Hold on.
Can you actually?
All
Oh, man, we need one of those clappy things.
I gotta say that he's got the best voice for 3, 2,
With
1.
the fingers, too. Wow.
But he didn't say it that
He
time.
didn't
Can you
say-
superimpose that so the voice
I
is
think
over
he
the
can do
finger?
that.
I'll superimpose
Welcome
my
back,
voice over.
ladies
All
and
right, cool.
gentlemen. We good?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. Hey. Yeah, so this is episode 7,000 of the RX Radio podcast. With me, as always, but also sometimes maybe, Dr. Jordan Jiunta in the studio, live in person remotely, a.k.a. the new normal.
All these things. Augmented reality.
Some news to announce out of the gate. We're back.
Yeah,
In person,
the
live.
in-person stuff. It's coming back. Super exciting. So where are we at?
We are doing 2 in the latter half of this year. We're starting in early summer, actually. In August 7th and 8th, we'll be in Tampa, Florida at MI40 doing a lower body intensive weekend with Prescript. We're going to have me there. And you are flying in for that as well. And James Thayer is going to be helping us teach that. And then the weekend following, we're going to be at DMV Iron in Alexandria, Virginia. DMV is one of the coolest gyms in the States. MI40 gets its credit. Everyone knows of MI40. And we're going to be doing an upper body intensive weekend there. So going through practical application of assessment, intervention, progressions, regressions, adaptations, optimizations, functional anatomy, applied biomechanics, everything you need to know in lower body in Tampa on the 7th and 8th of August, everything you need to know upper body the following weekend in Alexandria, Virginia. Prescript.com. Sign-ups are still available, so do run over there and sign up. Secure your seat. Space will be limited. We're going to try and keep a good instructor to student ratio while we're there. Really excited. It's been. When was the last time? Was it Mississauga? When
That we were in
flew
person,
out?
you and I?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like July, 2019?
That was forever. No, dude, was it? Yeah, all of 2020. Yeah, it was. It was June 20. Yeah, June, July.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
Summer of 20. It's been a long fucking time.
That was many stories ago. That seems like
years.
I've aged terribly since then. I remember bombing it because it was a townhouse. I remember bombing it down the stairs with my suitcase to try and catch an early flight, and I had like these. They were like a pair of low top ones with like the combat. Anyways, they're like basically platform shoes. I was like 6'3" with these things on. Fucking rolled the ankle so hard. My ankle has not been right since that day. And this was that was the memory. That was the last time we were in person. I fucked my ankle.
That's how things have been for the last
So
2
who
years.
knows how exciting it's going to get. But no, I think the big things from the weekend, we're going to be putting together either like a dinner or either something. We're gonna either rent a place or get a restaurant or something. So everyone that attends, like the big part of the community that we built online is just that, is the community of coaches and athletes and clinicians. So we're gonna put something together for all attendees to kind of have a night where we, talk about the reps and sets, talk about the nuts and bolts of things, but also just talk a bunch of bullshit and get connected. That's been the benefit so far in the last couple of years, so we want to keep that tradition going when we open up the in-person stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. Above all else is just kind of getting to know the people that are down with what we're doing and the people that are kind of new to the community, getting us all in one room. So August 7th, 8th, Miami, lower body intensive. August 14th, 15th, we're running upper body intensive weekend, 2 days at DMV Iron, Alexandria, Virginia. Lenny, what episode is this? This will be...
225 or 6.
When did that happen?
Dude, that's wild.
That is insane. So, guys, do enjoy. And head over to prescript.com if you have any questions. Red White spelled wrong, WITE, and Jordan on Instagram, Lunderjack Productions at Lunderjack Productions, and then at the _muscle_doc. Follow us on Instagram at RX or Radio RX'D Radio. And if not, you guys enjoy the episode. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Cool. That's too legit.
Action.
That's
We're
way
live.
too legit. Welcome back. The most requested guest and host of the podcast.
Hey, look at that.
Dr. Jordan Jiunta in the flesh in the Adirondack chair. This feels right. This feels right.
This is it. It's taking us back to our roots.
That's that fucking office, man. Those four walls. The second you're out of there, I'm just going to torch it. I'm just going to burn that fucking place to the ground.
That's the only way it ends.
Yeah, I can't have a memory of that office, and every time I see those four walls, I actually can feel how many bags I'm carrying. I would just leave every day with my whole life. That's why living on the road was so easy, because when I travel with a suitcase and a gym bag and a backpack, it's actually like remarkably less shit than I would leave my house with every single day when we would go record the podcast at your office.
Absolutely true.
But yeah, so things are opening up now in California again. I'm back in like communist Canada, and things are not. It's so weird. Lundy, I went the other day. I went to like a dollar store. I went to Dollarama. They wouldn't sell me a coffee cup, and the one that hit home was they wouldn't sell you a Canadian flag.
You can buy Doritos though.
Not essential. It's like, there's something heavy about like patriotism not being essential.
So they won't sell you things that they don't deem essential?
Yes.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Dude. And it's marked off, like you can grab them, because I was like, certainly, like Tess and I just got back, so I was like, certainly, like I'm going to bring this to a reasonable human being at the cashier, and he's just going to be like, yeah, we're not actually, we got you. Okay. Like, you passed the test. You're not like a total subservient loser, and here you go, have your coffee cup and your Canadian flag. And sure enough, like I know he did it just so I heard the beep and like the computer tell me like, no, you can't buy this. So like, because he's probably had that conversation 10,000 times. But like, we went to buy a coffee cup, and it was like, and like I just froze. Tess was like grabbing me by the shirt and like dragging me out of the store, and I was like, no, this is a teaching moment. And I was literally standing there like lecturing the guy at Dollarama. Like, listen, man, this might be why you work at Dollarama. The fact that you're just going to do this and just be like, yeah, no, sir, you can't have the coffee cup. So it's been strange, to say the least.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, dude. How's it feel going from like Florida, where anything goes? You can like bring a crocodile into the dollar store with a shotgun over your shoulder, and then coming back to that.
I think that's the Florida flag, I think, right? That's the Florida state flag. Is
they don't
guy,
sell those. They make you get them tatted on your neck.
Right. He comes in on a fan boat. Just fucking Leonard Skinner album or Florida Georgia Line or something. No, it definitely raises skepticism. Like, it definitely raises a certain level of, like, I don't want to say conspiracy theory, although I was on the Flagrant podcast when I was down there, and someone messaged me, was like, hey, man, how does it feel to sit in the same chair as Alex Jones? And I'm like, you know what? Ever since you mentioned it, I have kind of been feeling a little conspiracy theory-esque since that day. But when you come back and you see the contrast, you're like, people in Florida, for the most part, look just like people here. But, like, the fear, I think, the fear and the trust, and maybe the trust comes first. Like, the trust that you think our government knows what, like, the people that run the government know what's going on is, like, pretty amazing to me. And I think it's Canadian, like, stereotypical politeness or kindness now that's, like, kind of biting us in the ass. Because, like, Canadians, for the most part, other than me, don't really like to cause a fuss. And that's bad now. Although now I'm starting to see it where people are, like, biting back. Like, I don't wear a mask in my building. And the number of, like, passive-aggressive comments I get from old people now, it's just like, well, dude, I'm just going to murk one of you. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to be the guy who just beats, like, dude in 5'10" beat the shit out of Miss Lancaster or whatever. And, like, don't talk to him about the mask. But, like, people are, where before they would be, like, super polite. Like, people would inconvenience themselves so much to make other people feel comfortable. But with the mask, it's like a weird hard line that when I don't wear a mask in the building, like people will talk under their breath. And it's like that's so impolite now that it's like really pushing people outside of their comfort zone. So it's been really strange for me to be back, because it's like sometimes you have conversations with people who are wearing a mask and you're not wearing one and they're kind of cool. Like my neighbor across the hall is like, him and his wife wear a mask and we'll like interact on a fairly frequent basis, but I have no idea what their faces look like. But it's like, are they just trying to get out of this conversation so they can get away from like the maskless people? Are they cool with, I don't know. It's super fucking strange.
So this is the weirdest place to live in the world right now.
It's just so crazy to me.
It has like the most restrictions in all of North America. Like,
It's wild.
Completely. And there's the craziest thing that I've noticed is that people are walking down the street and then there'd be two people like on the sidewalk going opposite directions. And one will just step out onto the road to not walk past the person. Like right in front of my truck. Just little juke right onto the road. I'm like, you do realize if I hit you with this, you're dead.
Definitely dead. The chance of survival, 0% when you're looking down the barrel of the F-150. I think we should all be armed with the giant American Gladiator Q-tips. And it's like if you're walking on the sidewalk, it's like there's only one way around and that's through. Let's go. And we just start like red team, blue team, just beat the shit out of each other with giant Q-tips. Or we all walk around in sumo suits. Keeps your social distance. You can fuck people up. Like,
that's way more entertaining than masks.
I think that policy makes more sense than anything I've seen.
It's probably cheaper too.
Yeah, just inflatable sumo suits. I think that's the answer to, because it's crazy, man. Like they were meant to lift restrictions in early June, and they have like, I don't understand the arbitrary nature of like the time duration. Like, what if weeks were only 3 days, right? Like, what if a work week was only 3 days? Like, then would it still be the same equivalent time? Because they're doing 3 weeks in between lifting sanctions. So they implement like an alleviation, I think, on the 14th. They put one in place, and then they'll monitor across 3 weeks. I'm like, what an arbitrary amount of time 21 days is. Like, does the virus know it's 21 days? Where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're done here. Sorry, guys. All right. It's like,
time to go.
Right, time to go. I don't know. It's so crazy to me. And then, like, the contrast from Florida and even Dallas. Like, I was in Dallas right when things, like, no masks. You can go into a place and, like, grocery stores don't have to wear it. Like, yeah, fuck this bullshit. We're over it. And the crazy thing
is people aren't getting sick anymore, right?
I'm under the assumption that everyone in the world has had it.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
or at least been around it.
Yeah, like if you were going to get it contracted and fall ill from it, that in the last 18 months you have done that. Yeah. I always double back to like growing up as a kid and like the words, there's something going around.
Yeah.
Will never be uttered again, right? Because I remember that. Like, you got sick and you went home. You got sick at school. You went home. You got your parents sick. They went to work, got someone at their work sick. They got their kids sick, got them sick again, and then went back around the office. Like, yeah, I don't know, something going around. And, like, I swear there were ones that were going around when we were kids that were way worse than what we were looking at here. Like, they just couldn't, like, I don't know, Granny died of something. She got a sniffly nose, and then she was belly up. And it's like you had a few kids die, like, random strains of the flu. I swear it's no different than any other thing. It was just like, and what do I know, right? But at the same time, it's been...
When I was 6 years old, I remember that.
I was an epidemiologist when I was in the 4th grade.
Dude, I think the weird part coming out of this is, like, dealing with people again. Like, I'm sure it was fine in Florida because people just don't give a fuck. But, like, here, like, people are, like, somewhere in between where, like, some just really don't give a fuck. And others are, like, super, like, you know, like you said, in Canada, like, oh, no, let me put my mask on. You know, double mask, stay 6 feet away, outside, all the shit. But, like, it's so awkward being in a social situation where there's multiple people because you don't know how to read, like, people's sensitivity or, like, where people are at. Like, I'll walk up to someone, like, I don't know, like, I'll reach for a handshake and they'll give me an elbow. And I'm like, all right, well, fuck me then.
You know what you do? just shirt cock it with 2 domers on. They'd be like, you really want to make this awkward? Here you go.
That's what I've been doing on Zoom calls for the last like 15 months.
Oh man, I got to the point I had to quarantine when I got back, and I had to teach a level 1 course, and I was like, fuck it, like I've got to stay inside all day. I just taught it in my bathrobe, and then while I was teaching it, the COVID Purelator police showed up. This is on a recording in the level 1. So if you're a level 1 student, go look at week 8 lecture in the portal, because I had to give the guy, and this was where I knew we were fucked. So at 8 days upon returning back into Canada, so they give you a COVID test at the border that you have to take at home. So like they send you an email and like your COVID test is going to be performed between this hour and this hour, this 1 hour block, 8 days from upon your arrival. So, like, you get on FaceTime with what I assume to be a physician. I would imagine to make this an official ceremony. But if you looked, like if you were an alien and you were looking at what was going on and didn't really know context, I had adult supervision to pick my nose with a Q-tip. That was the process. So I'm on FaceTime with this lady. And I'm like, because I just want to point out the absurdity of it. I'll do it. I just want everyone to know how stupid it is. Right? Like I do this at the airport when something is like whenever I have to take luggage from one bag and put it in another bag, and they're going to take both these bags and put it on the same fucking airplane, I'll do it, but I just want the person behind the desk to acknowledge that this is stupid. That's all I want. Like, that's the only thing I want out of this is, like, I need to know for my own sanity that this other human being understands that this arbitrary process of taking 2 pairs of my shoes and putting them in this other bag so that 2 scales say 30 kilos, and then both of that just goes on the 10,000-pound plane, that's dumb. It's the same with this. I just needed this lady to know as I, like, poked my fucking frontal cortex. Like, I had this little Indian lady telling me to stick something deeper up my nose. I'm like, I felt like Ralph Wiggum. There's no fucking way we went to the moon if this is where we're at. I'm just sitting there knuckle deep. I was like, there's no way. And then the Purelator guy comes while I'm teaching. And I had to go in. And the best part is I got the results this morning, and I was so happy with this. Let me see if I can pull this up.
I hope they're inconclusive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck, man. I want to find it. Lundy, cut this out if it runs too long.
Okay.
But it's maybe I just fucking deleted it because I was so upset. God, I got a lot of emails this morning. It was basically. So go ahead.
What I'm thinking is that like there has to be some algorithm that they can run in the meantime while you're like picking your nose. Like this guy has knuckle tattoos. He's probably more likely to kill someone like via road rage in traffic than give someone COVID. So we're just gonna let this one go.
Yeah, we're just gonna. This is automatically like he just passed the test. Where the fuck is it? It came back inconclusive, damaged specimen. And I was like, yeah, I probably had that on a few report cards when I was a kid. Just a broken toy. But so like, I don't even know what that means.
Damaged specimen.
So like the Purelator, or probably me, damaged it. How does it get damaged? It's like Seinfeld where the ice cream melts and Kramer's like, nah, it changes the molecules. It's like, how do my boogers get damaged?
You know what happened? I bet they just dropped it on the floor. Like just a clumsy fucking tester person just
lost in between the seats.
Damaged.
Yeah. Dude, I had UPS lost a pair of my shoes. Like I ordered a pair of shoes off Goat and they lost it. And so I had to call them. I wrote a claim and it's like, certainly, like how do you lose? It's all scanned in. And so what I called the thing, because they go through the claims report, and at the end the status was like lost. So I had to call them and be like, hi, I don't know how to say this, but you guys stole my shoes. They're like, what do you mean? It's like, you're the last person to know where they were. You were supposed to give them to me and you didn't. So that's theft. And they're like, yeah, sorry, there's nothing we can do. It's like, I hate systems that are made for zero responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I yell at people. Because I'm like, if I yell at you enough and everyone yells at you enough, like the guy at the counter, the guy who answers the phone, they're going to go up to their boss and be like, can we do something about this? I'm sure getting yelled at a lot. Could you guys fix the shoe stealing policy or the policy that has us move the luggage in one bag into the other? People don't yell enough.
It's true.
Dude, that's what I'm running into now in Canada. It's like literally I've had to not like make examples of it. And I talk about this like I'm going to beat up an old person. I'm not going to do that. But like
Not yet,
not
anyway.
yet.
I'm not convinced.
But I will have a very stern conversation with an elderly woman because I can't let her go on like that. I couldn't sleep at night.
What's the tone of this conversation, though? Like, what are you saying?
Easy. You started off with, listen, ma'am. Immediately sets the tone.
Nothing says respect to your elders like, listen here, ma'am, with the knuckle tattoo.
Yeah, well, because it's a little bit of both, right? Like the listen, Tess starts conversations with listen. It's like, okay, you have my attention. You're not going to get the result you want, but you have my attention.
This is pretty combative at this point.
Right, yeah. But the ma'am is kind of like, it's like a negative compliment.
Yeah.
Right? The ma'am is like,
look here, buddy.
Exactly. Ma'am is to
I'm not your
old
buddy,
ladies
buddy.
what buddy is to like literally any guy who's not your softball coach when you're like 6 years old. So ma'am is like an immediate. So you set the tone that this is not going to be a walk in the park for this old lady. And it's like the best part is it usually happens in the elevator. So I know exactly where my exit is. I know exactly how long this conversation has to last for. And it's just an opposite. Like, listen, ma'am, I know you feel entitled to talk to me this way, but nothing gives you this right. So I'm not going to wear a mask. You can take the stairs.
So it's more so an opportunity for you to like point out that they're being like unjustifiably disrespectful.
Right.
As opposed to like saying like, look, you're fucking ridiculous because, you know, science says X, Y, and Z, and this really doesn't matter.
My building's not that tall. I think if I had more floors to traverse, it's like I need to get to the closest point where she might get on board with this. And I just want to stop further conversation. And because like I don't think when I get into an elevator, people are like, I wonder how this guy day is going, right? Like I don't think that I give off that vibe. So it's like I need to make damn sure that they know, government's calling me right now, that next time I'm in the elevator, I'm not going to put on a mask just because they asked me to. Mm-hmm. Which is like, I don't know.
Should you answer the phone on the podcast?
I've never. Oh, actually, I answered it once since I've been back, and it's automated now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was not a guy. Last time it was like a person. I feel like the budget ran out, and now they outsourced it.
I'll just print more money.
Yeah, nothing can go wrong there.
No issues.
But yeah, so in California, are things open to this event so you can go to restaurants and gyms and all that?
Yeah, I think people. It's like June 15th is the tentative like open up everything date, but yeah, until then, like people are like, it doesn't fucking matter. It's not like it just goes away on June 15th.
Right.
Like we're just gonna live life. So like restaurants are indoors, capacities are pretty much normal. I don't know. I think the masks go away on the 15th. I think that's the only thing.
That's crazy. There is kind of a weird, like, fight club community that's coming through Ontario. Like, it is more accessible in Ontario now than I thought it would be. Because there's kind of this, like, yo, you don't say no shit, there won't be no shit. It's the people who are poking their head. And God bless the people who are, like, trying to make legislative change and all that. But there's a whole bunch of people that are like, yo, I just need to get mine. And I'm going to just keep doing my thing. And then people in the government are like, nothing to see here. And everyone's kind of like, the studio, right? Like we float in and out. And obviously, like, we're not calling out the government as aggressively as some people are. But there are people who are like, I feel like Instagram just goes to the government like, hey, this guy, he's like posting a bunch of crazy bullshit stories. It's like, if you kind of keep it low key. And I feel like that's what even people in the government are like, yo, just fucking shut up and just like, just go, yeah, no, everything's great. 6 feet. And then, I don't know, at a certain point, it has to go away. But Canada has,
It's
I
messed
think,
up.
yeah, it's getting like world renowned for being terrible at this.
Yeah, you can't live that way. Like businesses closed down. Like what are the like next level repercussions of this? Like over the next like 10 fucking years.
Well, this is the Alex Jones in me now. Is I think that there's a push for universal basic income, and I think that's part of. And again, I remember when we first talked about COVID on the podcast. I said it was a construction made by Donald Trump to bury China. Just so we have an accurate frame of reference of how on the ball I've been on this topic since the jump. I was like, oh, yeah, no, it's easy. Trade sanctions, Mar-a-Lago. Trump just made this up.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go back and delete that episode. But, yeah, I think the push is towards universal
Canadian
basic
government's
income.
going to take it down.
Yeah. But universal basic income, I think that's the play.
Do I get
Weird.
it too?
It's weird.
I don't know. I think that's what
Free
everyone's
money.
pushing for.
It's fucked.
Well, look
Everyone,
at
like, as far as Canada or like worldwide, are you talking about?
no, Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think UBI is something that they're pushing for. I don't know, man. Scary times.
Weird
But
concept.
yeah, Florida. Because would California be the last of it? Like, would the whole country be pretty much open after you guys?
I think a lot of America's on the same page. I mean, California's obviously going to be one of the more kind of like liberal, like regulated places. So I think once California flips the switch, I think it's going to be like, all right, just keep living life, doing things. So I don't know. I think it has to do with the vaccination rate here. Also, as a lot of people are getting vaccinated and doing so relatively quickly. So who the fuck knows?
Interested in your thoughts. I don't even know if this is a podcast topic.
Oh God, here we go.
I'm just curious because it's like I think you can be anti-COVID vaccine without being anti-vaccine. Like I don't fuck with polio,
Yeah.
right? Like polio, sure.
It's a political stance, not a medical view. That's how I feel about it.
Wow, how diplomatic. You should be a politician. That was really good.
I mean, that's exactly what it is, right? It's vaccines work, right? Like, no one's fucking doubting that vaccines work. It's a fucking flu shot, and people are going to make their decision based off of how severe they feel that COVID is, and that it may be a factor, people pushing back against, the government or regulation and saying not getting it.
Right.
So I think that's where people are like, the anti-COVID vaxxers.
Right.
I think that's where people stand with it. It's a little bit more of a political statement, and it's something that, if you get COVID and you're reasonably healthy, you're probably not going to die. You're probably going to have a really shitty flu. So it's not like a life or death kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know where, because I've had it, COVID. So
And
it's like
you're still here.
Yeah.
You're not dead.
Not dead, not yet.
All right.
To much of the chagrin of the old ladies in my building, I'm not dead yet. But it's like I don't know. It is a political stance because like I'm definitely pro. Like my sister had a kid, and before I went out to visit her, I had to get like a mumps, rubella, measles, like an MMR, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like I don't want my kids or my sister's kid to be sick because I'm an idiot. Like yeah, jab me with the. I actually went to a Safeway in San Jose and did it myself. I literally grabbed the dart.
Can you do that?
Well, if you just grab the dart and the nurse doesn't say anything. I don't want this. I was literally like, it was the one on Montague Expressway by Palmer. I don't know why I was in the Bay. We were reshooting the library.
The videos?
Yeah, and I was heading out to Australia after that. And I just go to like Safeway on Montague Expressway. And you go in and they take in the little like room or whatever and they like pull out the little whatever, it's like a 25 gauge dart. I was like, "That's it?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then she's like putting gloves on, and I'm literally sitting there like this. And I just drop it in my shoulder. Yeah. Here, chicken's on sale. It's like, all right, see you later. And that was it. But I'm not like anti-vaccine, but I'm like, I just can't. It's just really a logistics thing. If some guy came to my house first thing in the morning and like just gave me it and let me do it, sure, all right, okay, see ya. But it's like I got to go to a place. Even coordinating COVID tests to travel is such
the worst.
A pain in the ass.
It's the worst.
I've done it now 8 times, maybe. Because like flying in and out of Florida, I've done that 3 times. So I had to do 1 before. So yeah, there's 6 plus coming in and out of Australia in last September. And it's just, you go there. I've done it in places that like pop-up clinics, like just the side of the road. I'm like, this can't be how we're doing this.
It's one of those
This
white
is sanitary.
Yeah, white tents. Everyone dressed like a beekeeper. It's like, this is insane.
They have like the porta potty wash your hands thing.
It's just so stupid, man. And that's, I don't know. Like, I'll do that. That's inconvenient. But it's like, if you're going to inconvenience me further with having to go to a place and get jabbed, like, just mail it to my fucking house.
Yeah.
I went.
You got vaccinated?
It was terrible, yeah. But the only reason I went was because we're held hostage right now. They're literally saying you have to get to 80% or 75% or something of Ontario adults
vaccinated
before they'll open shit up.
Yeah.
it's fucked up. I just wanted to golf, man. That's it. Let's expedite. I'll put anything in me. They're talking about that AstraZeneca thing, blood clots. I don't fucking care.
Yeah. My biggest concern is the TISM.
What is that?
The autism.
Do you get autism from the vaccine?
I don't know. That's a dumb shit people say.
That's what chiropractors say.
Oh, dude, I can't. Well, and that's always the hard part, right? That's like, I'm not anti-vaccine by any
Sounds
stretch.
like you are. I think we should clip that. Right. I'm anti-vaccine.
But it's like, I'm anti another thing on my schedule. That's what I am. That's what I'm a strong opposition to have to do more shit that I'm already doing.
That's so funny.
Well, like, if this last year's brought anything, it's fucking convenience. I get my groceries delivered, so I don't have to go to the fucking grocery store. Like, everything comes to you right now, and you don't have to deal with people, right? You just hit a couple buttons on your screen, and it comes to you. So, like, the fact, like, this is a weird thought that I caught myself having the other day when I work with, like, a high school, who is this? He's a wrestler. He was talking about, like, his school schedule, right? And he's on the computer, class after class. And I'm like, fuck, like, when I was in college, like, I would pick up my shit, I'd put it in my bag, and I'd have to walk all the way across campus to, like, try to get to my next class on time. And I'm like, these kids just click into another meeting. Like, it just makes so much more sense in terms of convenience than being in a physical space at a physical time.
But it doesn't prepare you for life, like across the board.
What if this is life now, dude?
No.
Dude,
at some point,
I know people that make like $250,000 a year just hopping from Zoom meeting to Zoom meeting.
Oh yeah, but your life will be short because certainly you're just gonna blow your fucking brains out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
not arguing that, dude.
I just think like. Look at the important limit. Like, look at the progress you made as a person at different levels of like developmental milestones because of the inconveniences you were faced at. Like, I think of kids like being allergic to literally everything. Like, there's probably a time when you're like 5 or 6 years old, when you're eating fucking dirt. One of the first memories I have of my life is drinking not from the hose, but drinking the puddle at the end of a driveway where the hose was running down the driveway.
That's your COVID vaccine, dude. That's exactly what that is.
Adamantium. I'm like Wolverine, and also maybe
kid will never get Ebola.
But might not ever get a date or that chromosome back. But I was drinking driveway water in St. Catharines, Ontario.
Oh, man.
Right, at fucking 4 or 5 years old. Yeah. But it's like, we know kids went to high school with them. It's like September would roll around. It's like it's hay fever season. The kid's just eating Claritin for lunch. You're just like, fuck, man, should have been drinking the driveway water. But imagine these kids that are just like
so fucking true,
sterilized, sanitizing, drinking. Like, it's just, dude, what the fuck? Like, you're gonna grow up to be such a. Because as much as like our day-to-day working life might shift to like Zoom, remote, all of this bullshit, Mother Nature don't give a fuck. Undefeated. Yeah. Jeffrey Goldblum was taught us one thing from Jurassic Park is nature finds a way. Life finds a way. These people are going to get fucking walloped. Like whoever's 5 right now, when they're like 20, they're going to have a real rough go of it.
Yeah, that's so true, dude. And that's like the weird part of this is like the social aspect. It's like, I fucking hate talking to a computer screen. Like, I don't know. I found this weird disconnect where if I have headphones, I feel like I'm having more of a conversation. But like just talking to a computer screen, it's like, it's agonizing for me. And then like going out and like people that's literally their social exposure and then going into like a social situation, it's such a disconnect, dude. Like I've seen people that, the people that quote unquote, oh, I love working from home. And then you try and have a conversation. I'd rather punch myself in the mouth for 20 minutes than have like an 8-sentence conversation with them.
The scary thing for me is like, I mean, you're on a screen right now, but I've been in the office. I can fill in the gaps with my like working memory of your office. So like I could walk out the door in my brain and go out and like, oh, the tires are here. The boxes are here. The barbells and the rigs and the racks and all this. I know where it is.
Right.
But it's like if you're just having meetings remotely, the scary thing for me, and this is like, the conspiracy theory side, is it's way easier to make this fake. Like someone can, with good CGI or something like that, make this fake.
Yeah, dude, Zoom has the backgrounds where you could just like put a picture in there and it like superimposes you over it.
But not even the background fake. You like a good like avatar is just that. It looks 3D.
Right.
We know 3D to look like on a 2-dimensional screen, right? So that's where it gets scary to me. Is like you could pull some like crazy Deus Ex Machina stuff, and like this couldn't even be you. When it's like where in person, everyone knew at Coachella that Tupac was a hologram. Right, like, because it's really hard to fake that in real life. But if this is real, it's like, dude, it's so easy to fuck with this.
Have you seen the deep fake stuff on the internet?
No,
that's what it's called, deep fake. They basically like superimpose someone's face, whoever's, like Tom Cruise. We gotta be talking to Tom Cruise right now, and they make a whole thing where that person will like say something and blah blah blah, and it looks so good.
Yeah,
like we're gonna get to a point where it's like you don't know the difference at all.
That's my concern. Like, whatever, civil discourse.
But
I think
even on that page, like, once we get to that point, isn't that kind of freeing? It's like, all right, this is so lifelike that it could be real that it almost invalidates all of this stuff.
Yeah, then we're
right.
Just
if there's that
Matrix.
question,
yeah.
I guess so. There's so many fucking layers to this. It's crazy.
And you get augmented reality, where you'll put on fucking Google glasses. We'll have Jiunta sitting in that chair over there, and fucking Gandhi in that one.
That's a scary thought.
Me, you, and Gandhi in a room. Yeah.
Well, even just the augmented reality, like there's people that choose to spend their time in, we'll call it a virtual reality right now, right? Think about an augmented reality where it's going to be that much more kind of real and probably that much more better than so many people's day-to-day life that like that's going to be more enticing than reality.
Dude, do you remember,
for a lot of people?
Because we were probably in the heart of this. Remember when Pokemon Go was out? And we lived in the Silicon
just like nerds
Valley.
getting hit by cars.
Someone walked off a cliff for like a Jigglypuff. This guy just put full.
That is evolution right there. That is evolution.
But I think the augmented reality, like as long as you keep one foot in the door of like the real reality, where it's like when you step off the curb and the F-150 gets you, rather than like the virus that you might get from the dude walking by, or like we can just start leading lemmings off a cliff for a Jigglypuff or a Bulbasaur. I think that's what we need. Like the 2-mask thing to me was such a gift. It was what I wanted my entire life. A giant orange flag on top of someone's head that says, "Hi, don't get to know me. I'm retarded." It's like, oh, fuck, amazing. This is the best. This is literally the best thing ever. I've been waiting my whole life because I've got to know people over the course of years. And then all of a sudden you get on like some topic, like, I don't know, something super polarizing. Like
whatever
vaccines or religion, Israel, Palestine,
Very
whatever, and they come up with this like, oh my God, I've known you for 5 years, but only now in like we've had this conversation that you've really shown me your true self, and you're an idiot. Oh my God, I've wasted 5 years, but like the 2-mask thing was like, oh, amazing. I would have more respect for my friends who shirt cock the 2 domers than the people walking around with the 2 masks on. So it's like.
That's
Evolution.
so true. This whole situation, it's like a visual representation of what people believe in. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like you wear your fucks on your face. It's like how many fucks do you give? Like 0. You give 0 fucks because there's how many? Oh, you give 3 fucks. You got like 2 masks and a bandana on. That's a lot of fucks.
Isn't it crazy though that people what they choose to be their hill? Like I'm wearing 2 masks because I'm not getting COVID. But I'm going to go fucking snort coke next weekend.
I love it.
Or I'm going to do fucking PCP. But I'm wearing 2 masks. Like, what the fuck?
And I've seen this a few times. The mask around the chin, dart smoke is like, we're done here. Whatever this is. Like, I love how there was a talk.
One or the other.
There was talks early about, like, remember when, like, alien stuff got declassified and no one talked about it?
Yeah.
Like, the government was like, hey, by the way, we just like
UFOs.
unredacted all of this shit and they're definitely out there. I think the confident part that they could release that was like they know that UFOs came here. We're like, saw the guy pushing the grocery carts in at Whole Foods with the chin strap fucking just beard mask. with like a Marlboro Red, and the aliens just went, no intelligent life here. And they come back. I'm picking my nose on FaceTime with some doctor. It's like, all right, what are we doing? Can we just move on to the next galaxy? These people are clearly out of their goddamn minds. No hope. But so here's the thing. There has to be, like, history repeats itself. Obviously, this is crazy, and maybe technology is fracturing the cyclical nature of the way things, like, happen, right? Like, there was the Hong Kong flu in 69, then there's, like, the Spanish flu, but it's like, I feel like technology has taken this cycle of, like, yeah, look, every now and then we kind of get these crazy things that come around, but we kind of get over it, and then we move on. But I feel like since 69 and the Hong Kong flu, that technology has taken such a turn that this cyclical process is now broken, and now we're just off in orbit. We're just like, this is not coming back around. We might start a new orbit, but technology has like drastically changed the way that this has affected us and like will continue to affect us. Because we can have bullshit conversations like this with three people who have no fucking idea what's going on.
Oh, man. That's so true. And just the way the information travels kind of changed the whole trajectory of this whole situation. Like the Hong Kong flu, the Spanish flu. This is a worldwide pandemic, right? You think the fact that we have so much international business and air travel and information, like you're in Toronto right now, I'm in fucking San Jose, California, and we're having a conversation. Like the way that information travels and the way that changed over the last, 40, 50 years, that's, I think, what magnified the situation, and probably what, I don't even want to use the word de-escalate when we come to talk about like vaccine and that shit. Like there's no way that they could have gotten a vaccine in a couple of years, like 50 years ago. But at the same time, like it probably wouldn't have been blown out of proportion like this 50 years ago. It would have been, where did it start? Somewhere in China?
Wuhan.
I forget the name. Wuhan, China. Yeah, it would have been the Wuhan flu. And then people would have gone on with their life.
Yeah, I mean, I am a huge proponent in all aspects of my life, and you've known me, both of you have known me for a really long time. I keep people on a need-to-know basis. Do you need to know this? Yes, and keep me on a need-to-know basis. I don't need to know a bunch of extraneous shit. My mom calls me once a week, and she literally just runs through like the local Windsor obituary. It's never good news when mom goes, do you know who died? Do you want to know who died? No. What? Louise, I don't give a fuck. Because if I had to know if they were dead, I'd have known by now. I would have texted them, and they wouldn't have texted me back. Oh, shit. He or her is dead.
Or they lost their phone.
Right. Either way. But it's like with the technology stuff and like thinking about what it must have been like in the Spanish flu, it's like that was on a need-to-know basis. You know how you needed to know what the Spanish flu was? You fucking had it. You needed to know what it was then, and then you were dead. So there was no, like, everyone knows, but they don't necessarily need to know. Because, like, whether it's the vaccine, whether it's staying 6 feet apart, whether it's wearing 2 masks, nothing really seemed to, like, slow this train down too much. It seemed to kind of run its course relatively unimpeded, other than maybe, like, just staying inside completely, and crazy countries that got ahead of it were, like, but I think long-term outcomes, like Sweden versus like New Zealand, they're kind of all in the same place right now, right? Sweden was like, old people, we'll get more. And then New Zealand was like, everyone stay inside. Right now, 18 months later, everyone's kind of like, I don't know, we're kind of good now. Right. So I think like the fact that technology doesn't leave people on a need-to-know basis, it's like you know too much. You have access to too much information. That's a problem.
True. Yeah, I think we'll look back and see like who benefited the most from this, and it's going to be like the top 1% of the top 1%, right? Like the Jeff Bezos and the Elon Musk, or like these people that like made billions of dollars off of the pandemic, and then like just working back from that, it's hard to not think that there's some sort of conspiracy with like the fear mongering and like closing entire economies about it.
Yeah, so some interesting ones. Like obviously gyms are like a contested issue in our world because it's our whole world. So the governor, what the fuck is Ford's actual position? Premier of Ontario.
Premier, yeah.
So Doug Ford, brother to former now deceased crack-smoking mayor of Toronto, Rob Ford. What a lineage.
Why do mayors always smoke crack?
Hey, you've never been a mayor. And also, you've never smoked crack. So, I mean,
right? You make a valid point.
Let's see how this goes. But he owns a company. Did you know this? That he owns a company that prints labels for Gatorade and also prints a disproportionate amount of you know how you're going down the grocery store and apparently you don't realize there's arrows until some uppity old guy gets in your face about you going the wrong way down the aisle? He makes those. So apparently his company has made over $50 million printing off of these things and selling them around the province.
Stay here 6 feet apart stickers on the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can see it.
So this is another interesting fact. Gyms have had under 600 reported deaths since the beginning of COVID linked to gyms. In Amazon distribution centers alone, there's been 11,000.
Wow.
Yeah. But I can't buy.
Not too long ago, there was this whole thing where Amazon workers were trying to unionize, and Amazon's just no, fuck you guys, get back to work.
That's not gonna. Yeah, what are you, Jimmy Hoffa? There's no fucking way you're gonna make that work. But man, it's crazy to. It's just crazy to see, kind of to Kyle's point, how far people are willing to go for this.
Mm-hmm.
And
why?
Why? That's the scary part. Why?
Yeah. Do you actually have a reason, or are you just mindlessly following these recommendations?
I think mindlessly following.
Mindlessly.
Because I'd be really interested in your father's opinion on this. Does he know that COVID's a thing? Is he aware?
My father, personally?
Yes, your father. Because he strikes me as the type of guy who's just he's been waiting for this. He's got the turrets loaded, top of the castle. Go ahead, bring on the COVID zombies.
This is such a complex topic because there's so many factors to it. But so I'd say one of the factors is that he is a physician, right? He deals with sick people. He deals with old sick people. So he's very early on when this was a thing. He is a doomsday prepper. So we have to kind of, we have to look at the things that are contributing to this. So back in January, when it was kind of first breaking, late December, January of 2019 into 2020, he's there's this really bad flu going on in China right now. If I were you, I would stock up on some canned foods and some ammo. Those are the two things.
I knew that ammo was coming.
Canned foods and ammo. And he was telling me, literally, he's I have 50 pounds of frozen chicken in my freezer. I bought another freezer for frozen meat. That's what he did.
I'd love to know what he bought for the extra ammo.
Yeah. I dug a giant hole and put all the
This could be a remote podcast will do. I'm going there in a couple weeks. I'll get on the FaceTime and I'll show you.
Dude, that would be unfucking believable. Your dad is Captain America as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, he pretty much is. So he's a doomsday prepper. He got his ammo. He got his meat. Back in probably, when did shutdown start? March 2020?
Yeah.
Mid to early March.
Yeah.
By the end of March, he had probably 3 people dead from it that came into his office.
Patients. Shit. Okay.
Patients, yeah. So, and granted, they were old. They were this is when no one, everyone's yeah, it's a thing, whatever. And they were they went on a cruise or something, picked it up on the cruise and came back, and they died. So I think it's something that, due to his kind of, the Hippocratic Oath, responsibility as a practicing physician, that he, had to understand and weigh the risks about it. So he did a lot of research, and his route was, I'm going to, use this research, use this knowledge to make this not an issue. So he got a ultraviolet air purification system for his office, where it's it uses UV to kill anything that's in the air. So okay, he markets that to his patients. He's fine to, keep open and see people indoors. I think there's layers of it in which he thinks it's a stretch, but I think he definitely uses the science and the facts that have come out to this point to have an informed decision about it.
Got to play the game, win the game. Papa Jiunta.
Exactly.
I could see your dad having COVID laced bullets Like just hollow points.
Just dip it in.
Dip it in. This is a special one. This is for the COVID zombies. Well, because like if you're buying 50 pounds of chicken breast, you got to be thinking, all right, and this is just a rough America math. For every pound of chicken breast, you're probably stockpiling at least 5,000 rounds. That's how it works, right? 5,000 rounds.
You were more generous than I thought you were going to be. I was going to say about 1,000, but
this is.
I'll do a count.
There's a 5 times multiplier when you live in Dallas, Pennsylvania. You've already made a choice.
On top of a hill with a half-mile drive.
Have you ever seen the movie Spectre? Spectre, the James Bond movie where it ends at the old orphanage that he grew up in, and there's like the old guy that runs the orphanage that like kind of is also a badass. Have you ever seen that?
No.
That's how I imagine. I'll dig up a picture. That's how I imagine your dad's house to be. Like it's just got tunnels to places, and there's like booby trap with like shrapnel and like broken light bulbs and shit. Like your dad has.
If shit goes down, that's where you want to be. But you want him to know that you're coming.
Right. Otherwise, you get the COVID dip. You get the COVID dip 408 right through the fucking forehead as you come up the driveway.
Yeah.
That's it.
If 30 rounds to the chest doesn't get you, it'll be the COVID.
The cab drops Jiunta at the end of the driveway. And he's got to go like this. He's got to approach, like walk backwards with his hands behind his head.
So the layers of security that he has is there's like the security system, there's the cameras, there's the motion lights, that whatever. But if you get to the point where the dog starts barking, he's probably coming at you with a revolver simultaneously.
Actually,
it's happened to my brother before. It's never happened to me, but it's happened to my brother.
Come on.
100%.
Dog tease off.
100%.
He's got the what is it? The
357.
357. I was going to go 358. I don't know if there's a 358. So he just you got Dirty Harry coming over the driveway.
Absolutely.
The second like Fluffy starts barking, oh man, that's intense. I had this conversation the other day that the second I have a kid, regardless of what country I'm living in, I'm now going to get a gun. I'll get a hunting license in Canada and get a gun.
Yeah. You're already a step behind. You should already have a gun.
Yeah, you're scared of shit.
Are we allowed to have handguns here? Is that a thing?
I would defer this to Butnary. Butnary would know.
I don't think we're allowed to. I think we're allowed to have them, but you can't have them as protection.
Well, I don't think you can have guns as protection, period. They're all hunting, right?
Hunting.
Yeah.
So, you're not really going to hunt. I mean, I guess you can make a case with like a revolver that you're going to hunt.
Shotguns always work, right? They always work.
Shotgun.
You don't have to
That's
be that
it.
accurate.
Worst case, you just get a hacksaw, cut off the barrel.
Yeah.
Is that work?
I mean,
a lot of people
the way
are
I
doing
think
it.
That's like the weapons that pirates used to use. It's called like a blunderbuss. They would just like fill it with like nails and bolts and shit, and it just shoots like short range. Like if you're in my office, you're gonna hit every wall if you shoot that thing.
Hopefully, at that point, what are you protecting? Like if that's where your life
pride.
if you got a Captain Jack Sparrow, that shit with office supplies, like what are you? I got a couple staples and a thumbtack, busted light bulb. I'm just gonna put an M80 in there. At that point, the most valuable thing in your life is that gun. Like that's the only thing that you're protecting.
It's basically like pulling the pin on a grenade and just holding on. Like, yeah, fuck it, I'm going with the ship.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, I've made that, and it was crazy because growing up I was so anti-gun, but now it's like if I have a single thing to my name, like if I have a family for sure, I'm gonna be locked and loaded. I've already made this choice that I already know, like. I'm going to start tattooing from my eyebrows down. That's going to be the second. It's like, sir, you're having a daughter. I'm just going to like immediately I'm just going to post Malone and then just go full face.
So if we're talking about like wearing your beliefs on your face, like what is it that makes the eyebrows the deciding factor? Is it you just really think you have a great forehead?
Nah, because I start here. Not that like, because the story ends by coming up and then finishing on the skull.
Okay.
Right. I don't think my forehead's anything. Yeah, it's a wraparound. But I think you start here, you get your Post Malone, you get your Wheezy, you go down, maybe get something tribal across the grill, you get your Tyson, your standard issue, right? Nothing says I don't care about your face like what I'll do to mine. And then you go down the front of the chest, cover the quad shins, back up, and then you finish the final piece before they put you in the ground is the skull onto the forehead.
I got you.
Nothing says get the fuck off my lawn like a face tattoo.
Yeah, that's true.
That's where this is headed, man. Like but here's the thing. I think every generation, I think when you get to 30, whatever shit's going on in your life, you start thinking, okay, I need to be ready. I feel like if you're not, we're probably evolved to start to think this way.
Yeah, that's true.
Because those who didn't and shit popped off aren't here anymore.
Yeah, the biggest things I've noticed, like literally, dude, we might have even talked about this before, but the second I turned 30, it went from, I was very aware, especially when I was growing up. I was very like, you know me, dude. I'm fucking egocentric. Like, what I'm putting off into the world. The second I hit 30, I'm like, all right, fuck everyone. Let's go in here. Everything was more internalized, like worrying about me and my own.
I went out into public the other day, and it was Canada, or it was a May 2-4 weekend here. It was a holiday weekend last week, and I live in like a pretty busy part of like a smaller town that I live in, like a southern suburb of Toronto. And there's people all over. I was everyone's father. I was like directing traffic, like back, yeah, you got some room, back it up. Yeah. Oh, hey, whoa, you're good. I was like, dude, I haven't been outside in 2 years. And before I'd be like, these guys gonna hit the fucking curb. That kid's gonna get run over. That's gonna, that's gonna hurt later. And now all of a sudden, I'm just like, I go out as an elder statesman. We turned 31 in like a week. Yeah. And I just go out and I'm immediately like, you guys are all here. Don't worry, I'll handle it. Fuck, yeah, bring it. And hey. And I'm just like, what the fuck? It was noticeable. Like, it was a noticeable difference of like, when was the last time I was around this many people out in public? And I was like, it was probably 2 years ago. I was like, I have changed. I've gotten so old. I'm so responsible for so many people now. Because I feel like when something were to go wrong, like, hey, who's responsible here? They're like, that guy over there. He was like, why'd you let that happen? Fuck, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. It's not something that I'm going to be comfortable with long term. Like your dad, I know he doesn't want neighbors, but I'll move like 5 miles down the road and I'll be your dad's neighbor because I can't keep this shit up anymore.
You'll stockpile some extra stuff at your place. Like, hey, man, shit goes down,
Oh, yeah. You think 50 pounds of chicken? That's a week for me.
Yeah.
How long is that? I'll have hundreds. I'll trade them for bullets. It'll be a bartering system.
You guys could build a tunnel.
Dude, we have to host something in Dallas, Pennsylvania. Because right now, no one's still listening, but we have lower body in-person intensive at MI40. We should probably record an intro where we put this at the beginning. And maybe we could just cut
what we always say at the end.
At the end, we've been doing this for.
Okay, close it off now and then do the.
Do you want to actually do that?
We can.
Yeah, let's do that. I feel like at a certain point we should actually start paying bills. Sweet. Yeah. So can you just do you end the recording or do you just cut it? Okay.
Just say thank you for listening. I love you. Say that. Tell them you love them. All right, don't. We'll get there.
I'm gonna go that route because I have so much love for our listeners. These are the people that voluntarily take an hour out of their day to listen to you and whoever, or myself and whoever, you and I, and now Lundy's soothing voice. So I fucking love you guys. I appreciate every single one of you so fucking much. Thanks.
You heard it here. I can't top that.
Okay, you don't have to. Maybe next
Just say
week.
I agree or ditto.
I agree. No.
It's always so genuine when someone tells you what to say and then you just repeat the words that they say.
Yeah, you're getting married soon, right? I'm pretty sure that's how that whole thing goes down. In my experience, I fucked it up. In mine, I fucked it up. I couldn't even repeat back what the guy said. I'm like, this ain't going to last.
Does not follow directions well.
Yeah, right? That's what my report cards used to say. So we'll just do an intro.